especially since Barcelona are playing tomorrow. All right, so let's have a look at where things stand right now. Real Madrid at the top of the table, only just though. Remember that Barcelona do play tomorrow against that team in third place, Atletico de Madrid. The Catalan side will be traveling to the Metropolitano, and we'll see if Diego Simeone's men could do their rivals Real Madrid a favor or not. All right, let's talk about this game now, shall we? Welcome in Luis Garcia. Luis, we were saying before in the pregame that none of us actually had Real Madrid winning this one. We know it's been about 8 years since they won outright at the Estadio La Cerámica, but they got the job done today.
Yes, they did. And they did well. Overall, a very good game for Real Madrid. Sometimes we only think that because they got so many quality players and talented players up front, the only good way to win is with flow, link-ups, and nice combination. And sometimes it has to be like this. In the first 45, they dominated, they created, they reacted after conceding the first goal, and they managed to get a very good result for the second half, maybe to be open and use Vini Jr. or Kylian Mbappe on transitions and score the third one. But it wasn't that way. It was Villarreal who started rotating players, bringing different styles with Thierry up front, a player who is very good in the air, and start putting some crosses. And then Ancelotti contract and brought into the game Rudiger because he's so good in the air and managed to bring that experience. So a very solid performance from Real Madrid. It was needed this kind of result. We saw the players that they gave everything today to get the 3 points because they cannot drop anymore. Barcelona will have the pressure to get a good result against Atletico de Madrid. If not, everything will be back to normal and the three teams will be on the race to win La Liga.
When everybody picks Real Madrid to drop some points or lose, we don't remind the viewers afterwards because we kind of think they may have forgot what the predictions were. But that being said, bearing in mind somebody's going to drop points tomorrow, be it a win for Barca, a win for Atleti or a draw, this is huge for Real Madrid today. Bearing in mind Villarreal, fifth best team currently in Spain, very attacking side. Defensively, I think we can see where some of the issues are, why they struggle at times. But I have to give Real Madrid a lot of credit. They had a poor start. They dug this one out. He was able to make some changes, quite a lot of changes. He was able to rest a few of the stars. Of course, he had to have some of the big boys had to play. And it was a very energetic midfield when you look at Valverde, Camavinga and Bellingham in particular. And Kylian Mbappe, who I presume had some criticism along with Vini Jr. for their general performance in midweek, stands up and scores a couple of goals. So in terms of you're playing first on a weekend, your two biggest rivals play each other tomorrow, the last thing you want to do, Stevie, is give them anything to go on. So Real Madrid, good job today.
Stevie, we give Real Madrid, of course, the credit, but you were saying in the green room when we were talking, you were looking at me and saying, gosh, Villarreal took long to kind of wake up and realize that they were losing.
Yeah, I couldn't figure it out. No, I think we've got to give Real Madrid credit. They kept the ball well, particularly later on in that second half, which is what they should do when they're ahead. They want to see the game out. But Villarreal, I mean, the manager was on the sideline. You could see him waving his arms and running up and down. But it was almost like nobody was taking any notice of him until maybe 10 minutes to go. And then all of a sudden there was a little bit of fight and a little spark, and Real Madrid had to do some defending. But in the end, other than the bad start, I think they deserved to win the game. And I think as well, you saw them at the end. I don't think we give them enough credit. You know, we're always moaning that don't be complaining about being tired and not. But at the end of the day, physically it does take it out of you.
Yeah.
And I've never seen so many top-class players at the end of a game on their knees or hanging around, gasping for air. I mean, that tells you how tired they are after their exploit.
I mean, it's not quite Alisson performance in Paris that night when Liverpool somehow won and he was magnificent. But when you have so many changes, when you're away from home, when you have basically a makeshift back four, doesn't have to give you a lot of confidence when you've got somebody like Courtois in goal.
Yeah.
Most of the saves were relatively comfortable for him, you know, but whenever he was asked to do something, I mean, he couldn't do anything about the set piece, but whenever he was asked to do anything in this game, he did it in the manner in which you would expect. And you can see that from the stats. He was the busier of the two goalkeepers, but he made most of it look easy. And so that's a big part of it as well. When you're a little bit weakened, when you know you're going somewhere, you're going to be under a bit of pressure, as they were at times, maybe not enough in the second half, then to have somebody like Courtois behind you gives you an awful lot of confidence.
Yeah, Luis, well, we definitely have to talk about Kylian Mbappe because in terms of goals, he was the standout performer there. Now we've read some of the stats just at halftime. The fact that he's on course to breaking the record for the most goals by a Real Madrid debutant in their first season. You can see him right there with 31 goals, just 6 shy of Ivan Zamorano, but he'll pass the likes of Ruud van Nistelrooy and Cristiano Ronaldo probably very soon. He's now 1 goal behind Robert Lewandowski in the race for the Pichichi. Of course, we can have a thing or two to say about that tomorrow against Atletico de Madrid. But really, Mbappe coming into his own, even though we talked about Real Madrid having some flaws, still not quite being the powerhouse that they are in March. But Mbappe definitely coming into his own and making up for not a star-studded performance that we saw from him midweek.
Yeah, definitely he stood up today. He was needed, and we saw him so angry when I think it was Arda Güler, the one who took the last shot of the game. He was demanding to receive the ball. He was in a good position, and he's showing that he's definitely wanted to challenge for, of course, the Golden Boot and to be there helping Real Madrid to improve and to win trophies. It was early on the game. When he managed to get in good positions, we saw that he's not all the time in that center position. He drops down, he goes to the wide areas to try to release and to get some spaces. And when he faces you, know that he's always going to be a dangerous and 1v1 situations. It was good, it was clinical today, 2 more goals. And again, he's a player who, even though in the beginning of the season that we thought that we might not see that he needed to improve, he needed to adapt and to bring the best of him, I think that at the moment we've seen the best of Kylian Mbappe, and there's still a long to go. So yeah, I think that those numbers, 37 goals from Ivan Zamorano this season, are gonna be broken.
Seeing the best from Mbappe?
I don't know if we've seen the best of him, but
are we seeing the best right now?
Well,
Not from 3 or 4 days ago.
No, what we saw today.
Better today.
Yeah.
What we saw today is what somebody like Mbappe is brought in to do. Whether they're at the best or not, they're there to score goals and be the difference maker when it comes to winning games or not winning games. And so, from that standpoint, absolutely, he did his job today, and that's what they need him to be doing. Yes, of course, you want to see it more often. You want to see the brilliance of him more often. But so far, we haven't seen that. But guess what? Look at all the goals. I mean, if somebody had just asked me to guess, I wouldn't have thought he'd got that many goals, but he has. But as I said, the most important thing today, when you need him, that's why you buy him, and he turned up.
But you know what, though? By the end of the season, when it all shakes out, if Barcelona win the league, or whoever it is, but if Barca win the league, and there's a Clásico in May, at the Montjuic, and he hasn't turned up really in those games, that's when people will sort of forget the numbers and say, right, where was our big players in the big games? We saw Jude Bellingham last year step up big time, particularly the game at the Montjuic, where they were trailing. Scores a wonder goal, scores the late winner. These are big moments. Now, of course, there's a quarter-final of the Champions League to come as well. So it just feels to me that all the big stars that have been at this club and other clubs are sort of judged, rightly or wrongly, not by the 2 goals in Villarreal, not by a goal against Las Palmas, or whoever it is, but the performances in the real big games in Spain and the Champions League. And I think if we're being honest, we haven't really seen that so far. We've seen some more consistency in the league, but the first Clásico, he ran himself like a headless chicken offside. We all know the big story there.
Yep.
He has a chance to make amends for that, along with a few others of his teammates, it has to be said, from their performance. But that kind of feels what the Real Madrid fans are going to be looking for. How does Mbappe perform in the real big moments? And so far, he hasn't quite been the player we know he can be in those moments.
Yeah, all right. Well, plenty left of the season to see if Mbappe definitely